Alright, bucko, I need you to holster that weapon, head out those swinging doors, and apologize to the nice lady over there you offended all night. I can ask you again. Alright. Could've just had a belly full of brandy. Now, you got some lead in you. The Heritage Barkeep 22 caliber. This is a 6-shot, single action only revolver made by Heritage, the fine folks who've been making affordable revolvers for many years now. Finally picked up one of these not too long ago. It's a 6-shot and of course a 22. And the cool part about these is the fact that they are a single action. They are revolvers. You can throw any kind of dirty old 22 ammo in here and it will go off just fine. I prefer CCI, but that's just me. Now, what's interesting about this particular Heritage is the fact that it comes after this Barkeep line of revolvers.
I'd like me a splash of whiskey to wash the trail dust off in my gullet and keep my singing voice in pedal.
Now, legend has it that a Barkeep is essentially a shortened barrel, couple inches or so, sawed off for barkeepers, bartenders, right? Back in maybe the Wild West, cowboy era. And what's kind of cool is it's designed to kind of quickly draw over a counter without getting snagged on the very long revolver barrels of back in the day. Now, to do anything with this, you need to half cock it like so. See that right there? There is a safety on here, which essentially, this safety, all it does is block this hammer from hitting the firing pin. So you open up the fire, safe, whatever you want to do. All we're going to do is half cock it right about there. That way you can spin the cylinder. And then you can take this little tool that comes in it for 22s and you simply just pop the rounds out. I'll show you all this up close here, but I want to give you a feel for what this is for. I mean, this obviously is not really a self-defense weapon or anything like that. It's really not something you take into combat or carry every day, right? This is more for just fun at the range. Maybe a brand new shooter, someone who's never shot a gun before, they would have a fun time just learning about revolvers, learning about maybe some Wild West shooting, some things like that that kind of just interest them and just kind of goof off at the range for cheap, because 22 is cheap, this revolver is cheap. I'm talking about under $1 bill. That's pretty good. Under $1 bill for a little revolver like this. Let's put some more rounds on target here, and then take it a little bit close up. I'll show you a little bit closer on some of the features of this really interesting budget-friendly revolver plinker. That's how the safety works right there. Flip it down. By the way, this is brand new for the range here. New company actually called Virtual VTact. This is essentially a rubber dummy. You can pick them up right off of Amazon. I'll drop a link down below. Now, what's cool about this particular target is you could do things that you can't do with steel, and it's not as fun as when you do these things on paper as when you do them to this, like this. You won't be doing that with steel. Link down below. These are pretty cool. So here is the Heritage Barkeep, and here is the Ruger Wrangler. You can kind of see the difference here on what you're looking at. I mean, half the length of the barrel, but overall similar frame, handle size, you know, a typical 22 revolver. Now, again, this is more for plinking. It's more for kind of just goofing off with the range, maybe some new shooters, things like that. But what makes this so interesting is the manual of arms. It's something that I don't have in my revolvers. I mean, obviously with single action, you load here, and then you have usually a plunger type device on the end here to plunge out the casings once they are spent. With this one, instead of a plunger, it comes with a little tool. So of course, back in the Wild West days, there were several different types of revolvers, you know, break opens and things like that. Things where you have to remove the entire cylinder. Things with this right here where you push them out. Different types of revolvers from different companies, and this Barkeep is kind of just a different manual of arms than a lot of other revolvers you might see, especially nowadays. So you saw how we load this, how the safety works. Once you half cock, you can spin this cylinder around freely. Now the safety works at any point, but is much easier to activate if you are half cocked, and that kind of works with a lot of the function of this revolver. Is a lot of it works when it's half cocked versus any other setting if you want to do anything to it. So the gate here opens up at any point. All right, but the cylinder will lock in place unless you are either half cocked, or of course you take the cylinder out to clean or reload, unload, whatever you need to do. And how you actually do that is half cocked, gate opened, flip it over, there's the actual button right here. Now this button here, push that, pull out this rod right here, and then the cylinder pops out on the right side of the firearm frame as your 6 rounds of 22. And that is as far as a disassembly as you would need to do for cleaning or maintenance for this firearm. So YouTube, this is all about cleaning and maintenance right here. There's a little barrel, chamber, hammer, firing pin. Get a nice clean in there occasionally. Now, you could actually use this rod to pop out the shells if you need to, or if something gets really stuck and you for some reason can't use the tool. If you lose the tool, pop the cylinder out, use this. They don't really recommend that because you don't want to damage this rod or damage any of the chambers here. So what you can do is slide it back in, put the rod in, push the button, line it up all the way down, make sure that button is back where it needs to go. That way you can see how it popped in there. It only pushes one way, so you want to make sure that it is clear and nice and solid in there. And now you're free to load and unload. Now if you had an empty shell in there, all you do is take this rod, pop it out, pop it out, pop it out, pop it out. Half cock is not going to let you do anything, and it's only a single action. It's not going to pull back, so it's a fairly safe firearm overall. Trigger real quick, being a single action trigger, every time you pull the hammer back, it's going to move the cylinder and move the next round in its place to fire. However, there's no real telling what's been fired and what hasn't with these, so it's really about guessing what's left if maybe you put different rounds in there, or if some of the shells are empty. I don't really know. For certain situations like that, you might have to look to kind of see what's in there, but there is no window or any kind of viewport other than opening the gate to see what's in there. Trigger, single action. Pretty standard, not too bad. Sights, blade, a little notch in the rear there. Pretty simple, standard, kind of old Wild West revolver type there. Works pretty okay. I do think this might be a little less accurate because of the barrel length than the Wrangler. But let's go test that theory, shall we? One of the really cool parts about this virtual VTAC target is you can repaint it, and it looks right as rain, right? It looks brand new. So 6 rounds, just 5 yards away with the Ruger Wrangler. I've had this for many years. I love this little guy. This is more expensive than the Heritage line of firearms. So I'm curious what double the barrel length has to offer with 22 at this distance. So on the kind of like the right, or his left shoulder is what I'm gonna do. 6 rounds, fairly quickly. Here we go. Not bad. Now let's try the Heritage. Same thing, but now with the Barkeep. 6 rounds, kind of like that right shoulder there. Quick as I can. Let's see how we do. 5 yards. take a look. So, interestingly enough, kind of gives me an idea what's happening here. Here you go, you have your 6 rounds from the Ruger Wrangler. All right, very nice grouping. And then you have the Heritage Barkeep. Now, this thing is meant for close range, right? You have 6 rounds on here. It looks like it must have been 2 in one of these holes here. Or like this one here. But look at the splatter difference. All right, so what I'm thinking happened is the rounds already started tumbling, most likely right out of the barrel. I mean, this looks like regular round holes, right? This is like splattered. So I'm thinking, looking at these, that shorter barrel really doesn't give it too much time to really stabilize coming out. Taking it back to 7 yards, I'm really curious about these groupings. So 6 rounds from the Barkeep, right at the heart. About 7 yards. I'm gonna take my time. Let's see what we can do here. See if we still got that same splatter. If anything, it should be bigger. We're doing this for science. I don't know. Let's see. All right, let's take a look. Here we go. All right. Maybe that gave it a little more time to stabilize. I don't know, I'm just guessing here what it's probably doing, but a little bit less impact there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, I'm putting 6 rounds loaded up in the Barkeep. I'm gonna do 6 rounds, unload, reload, just see how quick I can do it, hopefully without fumbling too much. All right, half cock, safety off. Here we go. Get my little tool. You can get the hang of it. You just gotta be careful. You don't want to like slide it across and scrape anything. 1, 2, 3. Ah, drop one. Did I just die in a bar fight? 4, 5, 6. All right, I mean, yeah, you get the hang of it. I know exactly what you're thinking. Can you just hold the trigger down and ride that hammer? Well, that's what I'm here for, because I have no idea. Yep. Takes some practice though. It's a pretty grippy hammer there. You're gonna be tearing up your palm there real quick. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this review of this Heritage Barkeep in .22 caliber. I remember the first time I shot one of these was at like IV88 range day back like several years back, because these came out like maybe a year or so ago. If not a little bit more. So I picked one up when I first saw them come out. Because of that price point, I thought it was pretty good. But when I first shot it, I was like, man, I'm not hitting anything at like the 25 yards. Because I had all the steel set up for at least 25 yards. And now I know why. It's definitely not as accurate as some 22s. But it's affordable. It's designed for a very specific purpose. And that purpose nowadays is not bar keeping. It's for fun. It really is just a fun little revolver. And it's just a blast to shoot, and it's just a short little guy, and the price is right, reliable, works really well, feels good in the hand, and it's a good quality piece from Heritage. It's actually the only thing I have from Heritage. I had that Ruger Wrangler for a long time, Ruger 1022, things like that for 22s. Other 22s have come and gone on the channel, but it's a nice little shorty there. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, hit it down in the comments below. As always, train hard, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next review.